The moment the young millionaire stepped out of his luxury car and quietly followed one of his own employees through the crowded streets, he believed he was about to uncover a secret that could destroy the trust he had placed in her. Every instinct told him that something was wrong. For weeks, she had been leaving work exactly on time, refusing overtime, declining promotions that came with longer hours, and quietly disappearing before anyone could ask questions. Rumors spread through the office that she had another job, that she was hiding something, or perhaps even taking advantage of the company's generosity. But nothing, absolutely nothing, could have prepared him for what he would witness that evening. Hidden behind a cracked wooden gate, under the Before we continue, if you believe that kindness always finds its way back, that everyone deserves a second chance, and that compassion is the greatest form of wealth, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment telling us where you're watching from, share this story with someone who believes in humanity, and subscribe to Kindness Speaks. Your support helps us continue sharing stories that inspire hope and remind the world that goodness still exists. At only 29 years old, Ethan Carter had already achieved what most people spent an entire lifetime chasing. He was the founder and owner of one of the fastest-growing technology companies in the city. His name regularly appeared in business magazines, his interviews attracted millions of views online, and people admired him as the brilliant young entrepreneur who had turned a small startup into a company worth millions. To the outside world, his life looked flawless. He lived in a breathtaking glass mansion overlooking the city skyline, drove expensive cars that reflected every ray of sunlight, wore tailored suits that represented success, and attended charity galas where cameras followed his every step. Yet behind those polished headlines lived a lonely man whose heart had quietly grown distant from the ordinary struggles of everyday people. Success had taught him how to build companies, negotiate contracts, and multiply profits, but somewhere along the journey, it had slowly disconnected him from the human stories unfolding around him every single day. Inside his company, Ethan valued discipline above everything else. He rewarded efficiency, respected ambition, and believed that every employee should give 100% to their work. He never tolerated excuses because he had built his own career through relentless determination. In his mind, everyone had the same 24 hours in a day, and success belonged to those willing to sacrifice comfort for opportunity. Although he paid generous salaries and offered excellent benefits, he rarely looked beyond performance reports and attendance records. Numbers told him everything he believed he needed to know. Among hundreds of employees worked a quiet young woman named Emily Harper. She was neither the loudest nor the most noticeable member of the team. She arrived early every morning with neatly organized files, greeted everyone with a gentle smile, completed every assignment with remarkable accuracy, and never complained, even during the busiest weeks. Her co-workers appreciated her reliability, yet very few knew anything about her personal life. She politely avoided office gossip, skipped company parties, and declined invitations to social gatherings. As soon as the workday ended, she packed her worn leather bag and hurried out of the building without looking back. At first, Ethan paid little attention to her routine. But over time, small details began to catch his eye. Emily consistently refused overtime despite needing the extra income. She declined a promotion that would have nearly doubled her salary because it required staying late several evenings each week. When managers asked for an explanation, she simply apologized and said she had important responsibilities after work. She never elaborated further. Rumors quickly spread across the office floors. Some employees whispered that she had another employer. Others believed she secretly ran an online business. A few even suggested she was hiding financial problems or personal scandals. Every new theory sounded more convincing than the last because Emily never defended herself. She simply continued working with quiet dignity while allowing others to believe whatever they wished. One afternoon, Ethan overheard several department heads discussing her. Although her performance remained excellent, they questioned her commitment to the company's future. One manager suggested replacing. Still, something about Emily's calm expression lingered in his thoughts long after the meeting ended. She never appeared dishonest. She never missed deadlines. She never created problems. Yet there remained a mystery surrounding her daily departures that refused to leave his mind. A week later, Ethan noticed her once again leaving precisely at 5 o'clock while everyone else stayed to prepare for an important product launch. Instead of returning to his office, he made a decision that surprised even himself. Without informing anyone, he removed his expensive jacket, exchanged it for a simple hoodie kept in his car, and quietly followed her through the busy streets. Emily never noticed she was being watched. She walked past sparkling shopping malls, luxury restaurants, and brightly lit office towers without slowing down. She ignored displays filled with expensive clothes and jewelry. Instead, she entered a crowded bus station where exhausted workers waited patiently after another long day. Ethan watched from a distance as she boarded an old city bus instead of using taxis like many professionals in the area. Curious, he followed in his own car while keeping several vehicles between them. The journey led farther away from the wealthy business district into an aging neighborhood where broken sidewalks replaced polished streets. Buildings became older, paint peeled from cracked walls, and the glow of expensive storefronts disappeared behind small family-owned shops struggling to survive. Children played barefoot beside narrow roads while elderly neighbors sat quietly outside modest homes, greeting passers-by with tired smiles. Emily stepped off the bus carrying a small paper bag. Instead of heading home, she stopped at a local grocery store. Ethan watched her carefully select fresh vegetables, rice, bread, eggs, milk, and medicine. She counted every coin before paying, making sure nothing exceeded her limited budget. There was no luxury, no hidden business meeting, no second job. Only simple groceries purchased with extraordinary care. She continued walking until she reached an old wooden house standing at the end of a narrow alley. Time had clearly been unkind to the building. Its roof sagged from years of storms, several windows were covered with cardboard instead of glass, and faded flowers struggled to bloom in broken clay pots near the entrance. Emily gently pushed open the creaking gate. Instead of entering immediately, she paused to pick up scattered trash lying near the walkway. She watered the dying flowers using an old metal watering can before carrying the groceries inside. Curiosity overwhelmed Ethan. Remaining hidden behind a nearby tree, he carefully looked through a partially open window. What he saw stole the air from his lungs. Inside the tiny home lived two frail elderly people whose faces carried the deep lines of countless hardships. Their clothes were patched repeatedly, their furniture consisted of mismatched chairs repaired many times over, and their kitchen contained almost nothing except the groceries Emily had just brought. Despite their obvious poverty, their eyes sparkled with genuine warmth the moment they saw her. Emily immediately began cleaning the small house. She swept dusty floors, prepared a warm meal, organized their medicines, carefully checked their blood pressure using a small monitor, and gently helped the elderly woman sit more comfortably while serving dinner. Afterward, she repaired a torn blanket by hand before washing dishes in cold water. Every movement reflected patience, tenderness, and unconditional love. There was no sign of obligation. No expectation of reward. No audience to applaud her kindness. She simply cared for them as though they were the most precious people in the world. Standing outside in complete silence, Ethan felt something unfamiliar growing inside his heart. The successful businessman who measured life through profit margins suddenly realized he knew absolutely nothing about the quiet woman working in his company every single day. As darkness slowly settled over the neighborhood, Ethan remained hidden, unable to leave, sensing that this extraordinary secret was only the beginning of a story far deeper than he had ever imagined.